Foundai on Season 3 Episode 5 Ending Explain, Theories and Breakdown. What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about Foundation's future is already doomed? I'm serious. After watching Episode 5, Where Tyrants Spend Eternity, I'm convinced we've just crossed a line the galaxy can't come back from. And trust me, the destruction of Calgon is only the beginning. I remember the first time I read Asimov's novels. The mule felt like an unstoppable force. But even then, there was always this idea that maybe, just maybe, the right people in the right place could change history. This episode. Yell, it rips that hope straight out from under us. Here's the thing. We're halfway through the season, and Apple TV Subs just dropped what might be the biggest turning point in the series so far. But the way they did it, oh, it's sneaky. They've set up a storm, told us the exact date it's going to hit, and then locked all the doors so we can't escape. So here's my question to you. If you knew the galaxy had only years, maybe months, before total collapse, would you even try to save it, or would you make sure you survived? Think about that while we unravel the ending, because the choices our characters made this week might just decide the fate of everything. For 3 seasons, the so-called coming darkness has been the boogeyman of Foundation story. Harry Seldon's centuries, old prediction hanging over everyone like a guillotine. But it's always been background noise. You know, something to worry about later. Not anymore. This episode doesn't just hint at it, it drags the darkness right into the room and shoves it in our faces. Let's talk Calgon. The destruction wasn't just a military maneuver, it was an act of desperation. Gal Dornick, forced into a corner, used his brother Dawn like a loaded weapon to take the planet out, and you can feel the shift. That moment when survival trumps morality. Why does this matter? Because it means the people who were supposed to prepare for the darkness are now burning through their resources and allies before it even arrives. It's like watching someone set their lifeboat on fire because they saw a shark in the distance. And before I dive into the ending twist, I've got to say this: we're breaking down Foundation every week, episode by episode, theory by theory, with the kind of detail you will not get anywhere else. So if you're watching this and thinking, wow, I didn't notice half of this, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss when we crack the next piece of Asimov's puzzle. Okay, here's where things get really interesting. If you've read the books, you already know Magnifico, Maggie, Giganticus is not just some quirky traveling performer. Oh no, Apple TV Plus is playing with expectations here, twisting timelines and personalities so that when the big reveal comes, it's gonna feel like a betrayal and a prophecy fulfilled. In episode 5, Maggie isn't the center of attention yet, but his presence during the Mallow's return to heaven is no accident. The mule's shadow looms over everything, but the real trick: the mule doesn't even need to be in the room to win. And here's the part no one's talking about. By keeping the mule almost invisible this episode, the writers are mirroring the exact tactic he uses in the books: psychological domination before physical confrontation. That's why we feel his presence even when he's barely on screen. Now, about those Cleans, the scattered remnants of the Empire, Brother Dawn, Brother Day, Brother Dusk, they're no longer a united front. In fact, they're rapidly becoming liabilities. You don't have to be Hari Seldon to see the math here: fractured leadership's loss, accelerating crisis, collapse way ahead of schedule. And collapse doesn't just mean Empire falls. It means the second Foundation might never rise in time. Let that sink in. Okay, quick poll for you, and I want you to drop your answer in the comments right now. Who do you think will actually be standing at the end of all this? The Empire, the first Foundation, the second Foundation, or the mule? Personally, my money's on the wildcard. And if you've been with us since my breakdown of episode 2, you know I have a very bad feeling about what wildcard really means in this universe. Also, does anyone else find themselves weirdly rooting for characters they hated last season? Because I swear Torrin Mallow went from "please get off my screen" to "oh no, don't die" in about 15 minutes this episode. Maybe I'm just easily manipulated by good writing, or maybe the showrunners know exactly how to get us emotionally invested before tearing us apart. So looking at you, Game of Thrones. And speaking of tearing apart, remember back in episode 1, when I said that the real war wouldn't be fought in space, but in people's minds? Yeah, that's about to be very relevant. Let's go straight for the jugular. The destruction of Calgon wasn't just an act of war, it was an act of narrative acceleration. By wiping out such a strategically important world, Gale and Brother Dawn didn't just deal a blow to the mule's potential assets, they set a precedent: desperation over diplomacy. Why is this terrifying? Because in the Foundation universe, desperation is contagious. You see one faction crossing a line, and suddenly everyone thinks it's fair game. If the Foundation can destroy Calgon, what's stopping Empire from burning down heaven? Or the mule from annihilating entire star systems just to make a point? This is where the forbidden knowledge comes in. Asimov's source material hides a brutal truth most casual viewers don't realize. Sometimes the collapse is the plan. Hari Seldon's psychohistory doesn't promise to prevent the Dark Age. It promises to shorten it. That means destruction on a massive scale isn't a failure, it's a calculated step. So here's the uncomfortable question: did Gal just speed up the darkness? Or was she meant to? Now let's talk Torrin and Beta Mallow. Episode 5 finally gives them something the audience can cling to: humanity. By showing Torrin's roots on heaven and Beta's sharp wit with her new family, the writers are setting us up They're making us care. And if you've been watching Prestige C5 for more than 5 minutes, you know exactly what that means. They're either about to become heroes or sacrifices. And then there's Maggie. Oh Maggie. If you know the book version, you're already clutching your head, because you see where this is going. But Apple's spin is even darker. They're keeping him just charming enough to disarm the characters around him, while letting us catch these tiny, unsettling cracks in his story. What happens when the mask slips? That's when we'll get our real mule reveal. And I'm betting it'll come at the exact moment the first foundation thinks it has won. Classic misdirection. So let's play this out. Imagine you're Hari Seldon, watching this entire mess unfold from inside your vault. You see Gal burn Calgon. You see the Kleans at each other's throats. You see the mule biding his time like a predator in the dark. Do you intervene, or do you let the chaos consume them, because your math says it's the fastest way to a stable galaxy? I want you to answer that below, and if you've been here since my Season 2, Velt Secrets video, you know my answer already, but I'll wait to see yours. I know some people are frustrated that the mule barely shows up this episode, but honestly, that's why it's brilliant. In war, and in storytelling, fear of the unknown is often more powerful than the thing itself. The mule's legend is already spreading faster than his fleet could. His enemies are shaping their entire strategies around his reputation, not his actions. This is how you win before the battle even starts. This is how you make the galaxy eat itself alive while you sit back and wait. Let's not sugarcoat this, the Kleans are done. They're no longer a dynasty, they're a cautionary tale. The very thing that made them strong, their perfect genetic continuity, has now become their biggest weakness. Because when you copy the same person over and over, you also copy the flaws. And those flaws, they've finally caught up. Brother Dawn is being used as a weapon. Brother Day is obsessed with his own legacy. Brother Dusk is clinging to rituals that mean nothing anymore. The Empire's collapse isn't just inevitable. It's self-inflicted. Here's my wildest theory of the night. And you can call me crazy in the comments if you want. What if the darkness doesn't come from the mule, but from the foundations themselves? Think about it. Both the first and second foundations are playing a long game, manipulating events, sacrificing lives, twisting morality for the greater good. What happens when both sides push too far too fast? You get a galaxy so broken that even Seldon's math can't predict the outcome. And if that happens, oh, my friends, the mule might just be the least of our problems. Alright, my galactic historians, we've hit the halfway mark of Season 3, and the next 5 episodes are looking absolutely insane. If you think I'm wrong about Maggie's reveal, or if you've got your own crackpot theory about how the darkness will play out, drop it below. I read every single comment, yes, even the ones calling me Foundation's conspiracy aunt. And if you somehow made it through this entire video without smashing that like button, what are you? A Klean without ambition. Do the smart thing, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week when Apple TV Tops almost certainly ruins my weekend by killing off someone I just started liking. Until then, remember, in this galaxy, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. And sometimes, it's the most dangerous weapon of all.